Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gorilla and The Geek, the podcast for sweaty nerds by sweaty nerds. My name is Kyle from Geeks Weekly, and I'm here with my good friend, my pal, my buddy, John the Ginger Gorilla.
I like how every week you come up with like some new form of introduction for me, and I'm pretty sure it's all off the top of your head, so I have to applaud you for that. But welcome, everybody. Welcome to Gorilla and the Geek. I'm excited to be here. We got some fun topics today, and let's get right into it, Kyle.
Yes, sir. So, my topic today actually was inspired by something that John and I watched last night. For those of you who don't know, there was a UFC event last night featuring 3 title fights, which is like kind of unheard of for like a random UFC card.
Yeah, it was
What number was this one, John?
UFC, I have no idea. 2-something. 240, 250, 245.
245, confirmed.
245.
Next round number, but anyways.
Mhm.
So last night the big match was Kamaru Usman, that's how you pronounce the name, right?
Yes, sir.
Versus Colby Covington, who I now believe is the most hated man in fight sports. The reason I bring this up is because I haven't seen this type of hype and publicity around a match, or fight rather, since Conor McGregor and Habib Nurmagomedov. How do you say that last name?
Nurmagomedov.
Sure. And
What he said.
yeah, I'm not messing that up a third time. You kidding me? Come on now. So, yeah, this is the most I've seen people talk about an event since that fight, and that fight was over a year ago now. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is because
Wait, that was over a year ago?
yeah, that was last October, bro.
Dude, we're washed.
I know yeah, John and I both turned 45 since then. Yeah, it's getting crazy out here. So I believe basically the reason that this fight rather was so discussed and so memed was because of Colby Covington. He is the biggest heel IRL in all of fight sports. Maybe you can make a case for Tyson Fury being more hated than him, or Anthony Joshua, but I don't know, man. I mean,
Wait,
we're not getting into politics here, but
is Tyson Fury hate it?
I think so.
I like that guy.
He said some wild stuff.
Oh,
about
true. I
homosexuality.
forgot about all that. Damn.
Yeah,
Bro.
yeah. So
I don't like
there's a
him
case.
anymore.
There's a case. And Anthony Joshua was just hated because
Bro,
people see him as a bit of a coward. Although I don't know if I can call anyone who steps inside of a boxing ring a coward.
I don't like him.
But
I don't like him because look at him. That's annoying.
Dude, yeah. Well, how are you that good looking and that talented?
Bro, his body like low key too just like picturesque, I guess. Like
You know what's weird about
it looks like someone made it.
Yeah, that's the thing. He doesn't look like an athlete. He looks like a bodybuilder.
It's a video game character.
Yeah,
because like you know how like when you'd play sports video games, you'd make your person look unrealistic because you just thought it was cooler. But like if that person was to play that sport with that body or play that position in like the NBA or NFL, it wouldn't work at all. But then you have this defensive lineman who's 7 foot tall, just so you could block punts better. And you're the MVP every season because you're too lazy as a kid to actually learn how to play the game.
Boom. And yeah, I mean, Anthony Joshua looks like he's straight out of Dragon Ball Z. But yeah, so I think Colby Covington is more hated than all those guys, maybe combined.
Interesting.
People within the sport are talking ish about him. I just saw, who's the BMF champion right now, John?
Jorge Masvidal.
He just tweeted about dude. Everyone hates him, but here's the thing. I found myself rooting for him to win last night because he's so hated. You don't get this type of notoriety around a fight all the time. It's because these unlikable men and women in fight sports are the ones that draw interest. They're the ones that make people invested in the fight because everyone always wants to see a bad person get taken down. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up on this podcast is because I want to know what you believe is more important in like a TV show or like a movie or even a game. Do you think it's more important to have a great antagonist or protagonist? I would make the argument for an antagonist, but I want to hear your thought.
The antagonist is the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
I didn't pay that much attention in English in high school, so I just had to clear that up. Um,
And you can even relate it back to fight sports as well if you wanted to keep the conversation there. I don't think it really matters what we do because this is our podcast.
so
Gosh darn it.
thinking about it, I think it really depends of the media, right? So like,
Mm.
if it's a movie, it's one thing. If it's a show, it's another thing. If it's like real life, it's something else, like the WWE, right?
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because if it's a TV show, like for instance, The Flash,
Okay.
you need good villains to fuel the show every now and again. But I think for the major part, your hero has to be an amazing character because they have to continue the show over and over again. Now, if you have a movie, you could do one movie, like for instance, the Batman with Heath Ledger,
Oh,
right?
I was just thinking that the Dark Knight. Yeah.
Is that the best Batman ever? Some may say yes, some may say no, but does it really matter as much as how great Heath Ledger was as a Joker?
And he's
They-
much better than that Batman. Just
Exactly.
putting that out there.
They're the villain who carried it. And then you could go to sports, right? Where you could have someone, and I'm going to use the UFC because I'm not so knowledgeable about it. We had the one of the most dominant champions ever in the UFC in Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse. He did not have one single heel, someone to rival him. He was too good, he dominated, and he didn't really get views. And then Henry Cejudo comes along, and Henry Cejudo, he beats him, destroys him the first time, but Henry Cejudo still wasn't that much of a heel, and then he ends up winning, but there still isn't that much to talk about. Now he's trying this Captain Cringe thing. I guess he's trying to work that out. But then we go to Kobe Covington, who you just mentioned. So Kobe Covington, probably I think I can't remember exactly when it was. Maybe 2016. Fought RDA, a Brazilian fighter, and it was his last fight on his contract, and his fight was in Brazil. He was winning all his fights. He didn't lose any fights to the UFC. And the UFC said he wasn't exciting enough and they were going to let him go. It was like almost like a known thing. So this is when he created the character of Kobe Covington. And he started flaming Brazil, calling them animals. In Brazil, he was doing this. And it like he won the fight. He got on the mic and he talked so much shit about Brazil while in Brazil. They had to fly him out that night because it became such a thing. And it created this character of Kobe Covington. And for that, I think in fight sports, you do need that heel because then it brings people out. Even Floyd Mayweather, he said that he either wants people to come out to see him to love him or see him to hate him, right? But either way, he's making the money, right? And with Kobe Covington, I think it was the same thing. He is an amazing fighter. We saw it last night. That fight was absolutely amazing, probably fight of the year.
One of
And
the most entertaining fights I've seen in a long time.
even though he lost, I do think this could be a fight where they run it back. Maybe give Kobe a fight again, Kamaru, give him a fight, and but I need to see that fight again because it was so close. Some may argue if it wasn't for the TKO in the last round, Kobe could have won that fight. Also, we gotta give it up to him because even though if you might hate him or not, because I do truly think it's all persona. I don't know how much of it is real because I heard a lot of behind the scenes that he's one of the nicest guys ever. So if taking that into consideration, I do want to see him succeed. I would like to see all MMA fighters succeed because I still don't think they get paid enough and whatnot. But I do think him playing that heel role literally changed his career and was the only reason that he is this popular today. We're talking about him, right? And the reason that we're talking about him is because he had to make that decision of playing the heel role. And I also heard that he does want to go on and after a couple more fights, go and try to get a WWE contract. Because I don't know if you know this. Think of all the greatest UFC trash talkers, right? Who was the most WWE?
The most WWE? Oh, Chael Sonnen, I would say.
Do you know who's in the same camp as Kobe Covington?
No way. Is it Chael?
Chael's his mentor.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Chael basically taught him how to do this role. So they come out of the same camp. So he got his trash talking from Chael. So I do think it's necessary. But as I said, going back, it really, I think, to me, depends on the media type of what like if you need a good villain or not. Movies, I think the villain needs to be great. You can see that with a lot of superhero movies, Marvel movies, where some of them have lackluster villains and the movie isn't as good as ones with amazing villains, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then, like, for instance, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, the villain kind of sucked.
Yeah. Even
And
though
then
you
you
shouldn't have.
had, yeah, and then you have, like, obviously Thanos, probably the best. Killmonger, one of the best.
Yep.
That really makes the movie if you have a great villain. But then you go to The Flash, where The Flash, I think you need a good, charismatic lead hero, right?
Yep.
Because the villains don't matter so much because every season is probably going to be a new villain. But I also could see that the villains make it. If you think of The Walking Dead, right? What was his name?
Negan,
Not even Negan, because in Negan, I think the Negan in the show wasn't the best. Who was the one
the
before Negan?
governor.
The governor? He was a good
Yeah.
villain,
Really good.
right? Like, so that made that season. And then after the villain kind of started falling off, maybe it was other things with the show too. But I think villains really do make it in those instances. So it's really a give or take. It depends on the roles. And I think it's there's more factors than just is it a good villain or not.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that with how do I say this? When it comes to drawing people's attention in the real world, being a nice guy might not cut it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there has to be some sort of otherworldly thing about you. And I think people in general are mostly pretty nice to one another. So there's nothing about like a nice guy that makes you want to watch something.
Yeah.
For the most part. That's why I think people like Conor McGregor, people like Chael Sonnen, people like Kobe Covington, when they're speaking so wildly, it's so outside of the realm of reality that we all live in day to day that I think it's something that makes us go, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, it's
This is a real
polarizing.
person doing this? Yeah, it's polarizing and it makes you think, well, this guy must something special. Like, no matter what, on the inside, you may not think it positively, but you're thinking there's something different about this guy, and I want to watch this now. Whether it be I want to watch him succeed, like you and I with Conor McGregor,
Mm-hmm.
or I want to watch him get his ass beat, like you and I with Kobe Covington. Although that flipped for me midway through the fight last night. There's something that brings you to the table, and that's the important thing. And I think it is harder to be that charismatic force when you're a nice person. There's very few people that can do that. There's guys like The Rock that can do that, although he's an excellent trash
But
talker.
was it,
If
I
you
was
want
gonna
to see
say,
him,
didn't he used to be a heel in the WWE?
oh no, he used to be. And if you want to see him trash talk in real life, look up a YouTube video where he talks about Tyrese's
Oh my God, that
the
was
album.
so good. He brings his WWE out to real world.
Yeah, and it doesn't even seem like he's acting. It seems like he's just saying this. It's dog doo doo. It's so good.
It's
But yeah,
dog doo doo.
yeah, I didn't want to cuss because we had a listener last night tell me that maybe I cussed too much, so I'm trying to reel it back in.
I
You
feel
know?
like you don't even curse that much on here though.
I know, isn't that crazy? Anyways, so yeah, we'll talk about that after the pod. So yeah, that was my whole shtick. I just thought it was really interesting that I saw so many people discussing this when I don't see anyone else talking about anything else from that card. Like I didn't see the people that were talking about Kobe Covington. None of them was talking about Max Holloway losing his title.
That's true. No one
No
talks
one was
about
talking about
Amanda.
Amanda Nunes dominating again.
Yeah, beating. Yeah, that's crazy. No one's talking about Jose Aldo probably winning that fight, and yet getting shammed.
And that's a snub. That matters. But
Yeah,
everyone's talking about someone who lost a fight fair and square just because he's an asshole.
and then he goes out and sends a tweet out,
Oh
like
yeah, that
talking
tweet was
shit
kinda
about the
crazy.
ref. Which I get it. He was trying to flip it to make it. So he tweeted. Actually, let me pull the tweet up so I could.
Yeah,
Just give me
give it a little
one
substance.
second. Colby Covington.
You got it.
Wait 1 second.
I DM'd it to you, by the way. So you
Yeah, I
should-
know. So he said, normally people do their fucking in the bedroom, not the octagon. Mark, and then he added Mark Goddard, who was the ref. He goes, I go there and to be killed, to kill or be killed. You robbed me of that. You robbed the people of a fair fight. You should be ashamed of yourself. Fake, fake nut shot, fake eye poke, fake stoppage, fake ref. Right? So what he's saying is, one, the nut shot was fake, which given he didn't, when they showed it in slow motion, I don't think he did hit Kamaru Usman in the nuts, but Joe Rogan made a good point where when they wear the jock straps with the cup in them, if you hit like where he kind of hit on like the pelvic bone, it could take it and it could push it up and like pinch him almost, which also sounds like it's horrible. The eye poke, which he's talking about, is Kobe got eye poked. So he's saying fake eye poke, yet you're the one who got eye poked and complained about it. But then there's also, I looked at the comments on his tweet after. There's hundreds of pictures, like the same picture of him. So he goes in for like a punch and like they're in and they're like backing up, and he takes his fingers, sticks them out, and jams them into Kamaru Usman's eyes.
Oh, gosh.
And you see him, and at least in the video that you see, it looks totally intentional. And this is fake stoppage. Dude, you got knocked down twice. You were curled up in a defensive position and not moving.
And the second knockdown.
Now, given, I don't think he was out. I do not think he was fully out. But is the stoppage uncalled for? No, I think it was a good stoppage. Because you got knocked down, you got up, he hit you again, and you fell to the ground again. And then were in like a turtle shell position. So, and not doing anything. You were kind of just covering up, trying to defend yourself. Now, have I seen people cover up like that and then get back up? Have I seen the ref say, hey, and you need to move or do something, and then give it a second to see if you do anything? I've seen both of those. But the fact that you got knocked down right before that is a big thing.
Yeah.
You had a broken jaw. Like, you were you took more damage during that fight than you gave. So with that knowledge, you given he did more strikes outputs, and that's why he probably thinks he was winning the fight. And who knows, maybe on the scorecards he was. I did see it was a draw, actually, they had it going on. There was one ref had it 3-1 for Usman. One ref had it 2-2, and then the other ref had it 3-1 for Kobe. So that round, depending on who won that round, could have won the fight. Or it could have just been all brought to a draw. But
I mean, with those two knockdowns, he was winning that round.
It's just one of those things that he's going to keep talking shit. Like right now, his pinned tweet is a picture of him with Trump and his intern belt at the White House,
which he will probably still carry around.
His tweet right before the fight, was thank you for the support to Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, who sent him a video, and he tweeted out that video. Like, he knows what he's doing. And there's a lot of things, like, everyone makes fun of, like, the suit he wears and that type of stuff. Like, I think it's part of the persona he's playing. I do think he has this character on, and he knows how to anger people. And he knows that if you anger the people, it's going to bring the eyes. So I do want to see him succeed still, even though I don't like this character of Kobe. I hope one day we get to see the real Kobe. Like,
that's
after this is over,
I don't want him to die with this being his thing.
Yeah, I want to come out on a podcast and see that. But even on so he did the Food Truck Diaries with Brendan Schaub, and it's where Brendan Schaub he goes to a food truck with a MMA fighter, and they eat food truck food, and he does a little interview, and he even on that brought the character. He hired strippers to stand behind him the whole time, give him a massage on the shoulders. He did all these things that made him just seem so pompous and likable. But then Brendan Schaub said during in between if they had cut or something, or before, he would go this was what I was thinking, he planned it all out, what to do to make him seem more unlikable. And I think that's harder than just being authentic. Because
that's for sure.
One, even if you're this nice guy, you got to know that everyone hates you for something that you're not. That's not even who you are. So I think that's even more challenging than just being authentic. Because even if you're authentic and no one likes you, then you're at least this is who I am, type of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Could you imagine him having I can't imagine he reads his tweets or anything, or reads anything. How do you live a life like that?
If this isn't actually him, there's no way he reads his tweets. Otherwise, it would I mean, unless it fuels him to keep going. I mean, I guess that's a possibility.
Yeah, but I do think it's necessary, especially in the fight world because it is entertainment. I mean, you
Yep.
need it. I mean, especially because UFC does try to take that WWE esque model, with
Because it
certain
makes
things.
money.
Yeah, and they need to. Like WWE made the playbook of how to do combat sports.
Yeah.
You need the heel, you need the good guy. They need a fight, and it's gonna elevate both of them, especially if it's a good fight. Um,
Think of we can close with this. Just think of the biggest fighters of all time. Let's go backwards. You got Muhammad Ali,
Trash talker.
who was a trash talker and a polarizing figure politically. Mike Tyson, one of the most polarizing athletes of all time. You have Floyd Mayweather. There's a case to be made that he's a bad person. Ronda Rousey talks talked all the ish in the world. Conor McGregor. Enough said right there. And then if Kobe Covington could succeed, he could be in that camp too, or John Jones even.
But do
Man,
you think do
like,
you
come
do you think last night hurt Kobe?
on.
I don't think so at all.
I don't think so.
Because it
No.
was such a great fight. Because
Yeah,
he
and the
there
fact that
there's
like go ahead.
there's an argument that he was winning. I mean, he
Yeah,
could have won that fight.
yeah.
If he lasted one more minute, he could have won that fight. Because he was putting it on Usman. If Usman had a little bit less of a chin, Usman would have got knocked out because he got hit with some good shots. So it's just one of those things that I don't think this hurts him, even though he lost. And it's just amazing to see.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, so that's kind of all I had today. Oh, I just want to throw one more thing out there. In general. So this isn't about this. This is about something we've talked about in the past. So recently, Netflix has put out two films this past 2 months, I would say, that are like getting big traction during award season. That would be The Irishman and Marriage Story. Now, we previously talked about how we're not sure how Netflix can like keep um, profits going because all they do is the revenue is basically the subscriptions that people get. I think the way that they could change that game is if these movies do well during the award season, why not just rebrand as like a production studio, keep your streaming platform, and do this. If you're making films, release them out to the public first through traditional mediums like movie theaters for like a regular time period of like a couple months or whatever, and then you have exclusive rights to the content for streaming once it's done with its traditional run.
That makes all the sense to me because also with these great movies, I like to see movies in a theater,
So
right?
do I.
Like it looks better, it sounds better. I don't have that technology in my house, so I want to see that movie in the theater. And that's with like the whole thing that kind of we talked about, like them coming up with that thing where you could pay to see the movie at home, even if it's in theaters. Remember how we talked about
Yeah.
that service possibly
Hmm.
being a thing? I still think that wouldn't destroy the movie industry. Yeah, would it take a hit? Of course. But I don't think it would destroy it because I would want to see movies in the theater, and I doubt I'm the only person who feels that way. I like that experience of going to the theater. I like that experience of getting the big screen, the sound, and everything. And there's some movies that you need to see in a theater. Like, for
I
instance, this
agree.
week, Star Wars comes out.
Oof.
I want to see Star Wars in a theater,
Yeah, it's a
right?
movie. It's a theater movie, you know?
Yeah, because of the sounds, the production, the graphic, like you need to see that in the theater. So I think that model would work amazing. And it could help them out a lot. And
Yeah,
I know
and
they
that's all
do
I
that.
wanted to say.
Didn't they do that with these two movies? Didn't they like limit release them
They
like into like one
they
theater or
did, but they
something
weren't wide
just so
release.
just so they could be in the Oscar contention or whatever.
Yeah,
Great.
I'm pretty sure that's why they just did it so that people recognize them as like feature
Because
films that were released.
I think it's a loophole because you can't. I think if they just put it on Netflix, it wouldn't be considered for those awards. I was reading.
So here's the thing: it could be considered, but they never consider them like
Mm,
that because the Oscars are very or not the Oscars, but all award seasons are very
old fashioned.
like fickle with that stuff. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird.
Oh yeah, but I think maybe you just saved Netflix. So good on you. Good on you.
Thanks, man.
And that kind of leads into like the question for today's podcast. with the whole like graphics and want to see something in movie theater. My question for this podcast is, if you could remake any classic movie, what movie would you remake? And now the way I think of this is not remake it and like redo the storyline or whatever. Same storyline. I think my ideal situation would be the movie comes out to be the same amount of greatness, just redo it with today's cameras, today's graphics, today's technology, just to make the visual and audio a better experience.
I already have mine. Do you want to hear mine?
Yeah.
Now we can go the whole franchise, but I would just want to start with the first one. I'm picking Back to the Future,
Interesting.
and there's a couple of reasons why. So that movie was made, I want to say in the 80s. Hold on, let me get the exact date up. Back to the Future was made in 1985. So the present back then was 1985. I think what could be really cool is having a film where the past was like the 50s or 60s. I think what could be really cool is the past being the 80s or the 90s and the present day being the present day.
Interesting.
Especially because Back to the Future 2 took place in the future, and this is getting all very confusing. But that movie took place in 2015. And the world was nothing like it would actually be.
What they predicted.
But I think that could just be like a fun little thing. And I think that using technology to do like what we would imagine the future being from now with the modern technology, graphics, and all that stuff, I think could be really cool.
Yeah, I think that would be sick. And the whole storyline change, I think, would be awesome too. My original thought was The Matrix.
Oh.
That was the first thing that popped into my head, because now you watch The Matrix, it's kind of cheesy. But obviously it's a great movie. I'm assuming you saw The Matrix, right, Kyle?
Yeah, of course.
All right, because I know I don't remember. I talked to someone and they haven't seen The Matrix. But the whole thing, I think, if you remade it with today's graphics, it would be absolutely amazing. But then also, while you were talking right now, I thought of the original Spider-Man, like Tobey Maguire. Like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, if they did it with today's like graphics and that type of technology. Because the reason I think I thought of that though was because of the GIF where he's like swinging, and one, you could tell she's like with Mary Jane, and you could tell she's holding onto a mannequin. One, and two, her hair's blowing the wrong way.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Have you ever seen that GIF?
No.
You never seen that? It's like super internet. It's so funny. Because it's just so bad. Like, everything's so bad. But at the time, it was like this amazing movie. Like, everyone was like, oh, Spider-Man's so cool. And I remember as a kid, I loved that movie. But I think that would be fun. But, I mean, given we basically get that anyway with Tom Holland. It's the better version of Spider-Man. But I feel like there's so many movies that we could do if you remade them with today's technology. It would just be great. Like Jurassic Park. I think that would be cool. We did that. Fucking that didn't come out well.
Everything's being remade nowadays.
Maybe our whole thing right now is you shouldn't touch classic movies.
No, what you shouldn't do is you shouldn't touch animated movies, because those never turn out well.
No, I think that's true. That's true. You mean the live actions?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Although I'm of the opinion that
didn't you say Jungle Book? Didn't you say Jungle Book was good?
Jungle Book was very good.
Yeah, I never saw it, but The Lion King was weird.
Oh, her hair is blowing the wrong way. Oh my god.
Oh, you just found it?
Yeah, dude, that's hilarious. Wow.
Yeah, right? Isn't it? It's great. And look, she's obviously holding on to like a mannequin.
Yeah, he's not moving.
Yeah, isn't it weird?
Oh man. Ooh, there's even like a weird like edit there that I can see. Yeah, this is
It's so bad. It's so bad. But whatever. That was that. But there's just so many cool movies that I think you could, if you just change the graphics but kept everything else the same, which obviously is impossible, but like I think it would make the movies amazing.
Yeah.
But that is idealistic world, and I don't think we're ever going to get that. So, moving on to our video game topics for today. This is a major news outbreak. Beep, 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 beep. News update for Stream Wars.
Hey.
Obviously, this has been an ongoing situation since we started this podcast. And I actually just read, even with this topic, I knew I was going to do this topic for like a week and a half now. But I just read something today that made it even crazier.
Oh, for real?
So first thing, let me get to what the original reason I thought of this topic again. And it's because Dr. Lupo, Tim the Tapman, and Lyric, some of the bigger streamers on Twitch, re-signed with Twitch. And it made me, I don't know why I never thought of this, but it just made me realize that signing streamers is now a big thing. It's like a thing to get a contract from a stream company to be an exclusive streamer. It's a thing now. You get signed to places, almost like you get signed to a team in the NFL or any other sports. Streamers' goal now is to get signed. It used to just be partnered with Twitch. Now it's to get signed a contract with Twitch or with Mixer, YouTube, or various other streaming platforms.
Yeah.
And I think that is absolutely crazy, because that means that, like, the fact that they're signing these people, like, and I maybe because I deal with it day to day that I don't see this growth, or it makes me nervous for the future of streaming. But these companies seriously think there's a future here because they're investing money into these big names. Like, they're trying to lock down talent for when this does skyrocket again, or it starts skyrocketing, or the more people come in, that they have these big names to draw people to their platform. And it's so weird, me trying to make it in this field, and then it, like, seeing these big people, and this is like the blossoming of an era. These are the legends that, if this does take off the way they think it's going to take off, these are the OGs. I'm watching the OG big streamers.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm watching them, they're getting signed to these companies, and it's becoming a regular thing for companies to sign streamers. It's amazing. And my thing is, I wonder if any of these companies are going to try to partner with a streaming service.
What, like a major streaming service?
Like a TV show streaming service. Because I think that could be the biggest thing, right? Like, having them in the same platform, or make, like.
Well, what if
I don't know how it
signed with, like, Disney Plus or something?
Holy crap, man! Well,
that would be sick.
Disney would
That's
scare
a
me.
bag.
That would scare me, though.
That's a bag, though.
Yeah, but the reason that I like streaming right now is because you could, for the most part, basically run your channel how you want it, right?
Yeah.
Which means, like, Lupo could go, like, if he wants to just be flagrant today, he says this is a dark mode stream. Make sure you don't have your kids in the room, and he could talk trash, say wild stuff, obviously, and then it's up to the people if they want to watch him or not, right?
Yeah.
The scary thing is if people start signing with, like, a Disney Plus or something like that, it might get Disney-fied, right? Just almost like YouTubers, you know? Who's that girl who, bro, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe what she does. But there's, like, YouTubers who have, like, this persona online who, like, like, they do makeup or life hacks or whatever. And
yeah,
I think the one is signed with Disney or whatever, but she makes YouTube videos.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Right? But she, like, even when she goes on interviews and stuff, she's all, like, this, like, ditzy, like, like, super, like, I don't know how to even describe it, but, like, just a Disney-fied person. Where
she looks like an actor from a Disney sitcom.
Yeah, but it's in real life, and she makes and she makes YouTube content in that fashion. Yeah, so that's what would scare me, is that you'd get these streams that are all of a sudden that type of lane. But I guess there would be the other type of lane, because you can't have someone on Disney Plus playing Call of Duty. You know,
No.
like, it's just, Call of Duty is too violent of a game, and I don't think Disney would ever allow that. But then I could see the people who, like, strictly play Nintendo games, like, going over to Disney Plus and doing that. Like, if they're variety streamers and they love their Nintendo games, because Nintendo games are more like
kid friendly.
Yeah, so I think that would be I could see that type of stuff happening. But it would make me very nervous for the fact. But going back to the original point, I think that it's crazy to see all these streamers signing with these things, and I do think maybe I don't know. I'm so curious to see what's going to come. But can you, like, imagine Netflix signing someone, or like those? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
How would that, like, that would change the market? yet again.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it would also change the way these streaming platforms work because not every streaming platform streams something live. Like I've never seen something live streamed on Netflix before. I've only seen them stream stuff like everything's pre-recorded on Netflix, from what I know. But stuff like HBO Go, I believe Disney Plus, DC All Access, those might stream something live, but I've never seen it before. Mandalorian might be live, no?
I don't think so.
Well, not in terms of like recorded live in front of like a
Yeah,
studio
but I mean,
audience or
you
anything.
like the first
But
showing
like,
is a
yeah,
live stream.
it's not.
I don't think so. I don't know
So
though.
that's the thing. It would change
But
the
also
platforms as
that
well.
yeah, that would be amazing because like think about it. So almost how you broadcast something live to YouTube, right? Like even
Yeah.
though it was previously recorded, you could set it to broadcast live, and people get to
Mhm.
talk about it while it's happening in a chat
Yeah.
box. They should do that with TV shows.
Oh, that'd
Didn't
be
we
so
mention this on a past
fun.
podcast though? I think I mentioned this, but I think
You might have.
that would be ultimate because it gives that sense of community,
Yeah, that's what everyone wants, really. I'm
right?
a part of a community for like a certain fandom.
Right? Because like okay, so like, God, that dude, this is bro. We need to talk to someone about this and make it a thing because I think we could get the bag for this idea.
We might.
Like Disney Plus, so given the Mandalorian, right? Let's use that as an example. Every week, it's already a weekly release, but every week for the first, everyone knows it's gonna come on at this time. Basically, going back to the old-fashioned way of things, right? So
Yeah.
have a weekly release at a certain time, and it's live at that time. And right as soon as it finishes, you could watch it whenever. Or if it already started, you could start it and watch it whenever. Um, and you get to go through. But during that time, you can't fast forward it past the point, right? Um, and I think that would be amazing. And then you have a little chat box on the side. Everyone gets to talk as it's happening. And bro, that even might even give a reason to throw an ad in here every now and again to give people
Yeah.
a chance to talk about what just happened in a scene. Holy crap! I think
Dude, I'm telling
we just made Disney so much money.
you.
That could be amazing.
I know, man. There's options.
All right, and the second part of this story though, because there was a second part that I read today on the Washington Post. We don't only have YouTube. We don't only have Twitch. We don't only have Mixer. Apparently, there's someone else trying to get into this game.
What do you mean?
There's someone else trying to join the Stream Wars, another platform trying to join the Stream Wars and sign streamers. And I already do think they have a gaming section who live stream. Now, do you want to try to do you have any idea of where I'm going with this or who it may be?
No.
Facebook.
Really?
Facebook. And it kind of makes sense. Because Facebook, I don't remember which one it is, they own one of the VR setups. I can't remember if it's the HTC Vive or the whatever the other one is, but they own one of those VR headsets. Like the company, Facebook bought them out. And I do Facebook has like a live stream thing already set up, and I think they tried to sign who is it? They tried to sign. Where is it in this? Oh, his name is Disguised Toast. He plays Hearthstone, which is like one of those strategy games online that's like really big in the esports world. But they're trying to sign people. Is that crazy? And in the comments down here, someone commented apparently they're trying to sign Tfue with $100 million. He was offered $100 million from Facebook. Now I did not
say yes.
I did not look into this. This is just some dude in the comments of the Washington Post. So this could be completely true. But imagine if that was true.
I mean, man, $100 million.
Because one, Tfue is one of the biggest streamers. Like he pulls huge numbers. And I think it's because of what we were talking about earlier. I personally don't like Tfue. He's kind of a polarizing character in the type that he's like this frat douchebaggy type guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is almost polarizing. So people like to watch his stream because of that.
Yeah.
But Facebook, bro. We might have another streaming platform out here.
Yeah, it's so many. I mean, I guess the more the merrier, to be honest.
That's four right there. That's it's Twitch, it's Mixer, it's YouTube, and Facebook. That's wild. And you know, there's probably
Now,
others. There's probably others out there that are like super small and niche.
so like, all right, so you're a streamer, albeit not one that gets like it's not your profession, but that's what you do.
Hmm.
You do it multiple days a week, and what aside from getting the bag would make you pick a certain website to go to?
The potential growth, the company behind it, and where it's at like right now. So obviously, um, I started out on Twitch because it's Twitch. I mean, that's the biggest out right now. And
Hmm.
then I heard a lot of talks about Mixer, right? And I was thinking about it, and I heard what really convinced me was Tim the Tatman said that Mixer is at where Twitch was when he started streaming. And that made me really think maybe this would be the right spot because of the fact that Mixer has that room to grow. I don't think Twitch is really going to grow a crazy amount where Mixer, I could see the growth. And then he also said, like, I play Fortnite and Call of Duty, obviously the bigger games. It's hard to get recognized on Twitch for those games because there's so many people playing it. So I moved over for that, the idea of, oh, there's potential here, right? Um, but I wouldn't necessarily move to YouTube, and I wouldn't necessarily do that
Okay.
for Facebook, right? Because I don't. Have you been to like the YouTube live stream
Yeah,
setup?
they're awful.
It's so clunky. I was watching Courage JD's live stream the other day, and it was just the quality wasn't going well. Um, it just seems like it's trying to copy everybody else, and I'm glad Courage got the bag for it. Because you know they had to pay him a lot. And he seems happy over there. But it's just one of those things it just seems so clunky that I don't necessarily know that that's as a small streamer where you want to be for that. And I finally like figured out how to like look up a game on there also, and you like click on the game, and the view counts. It's like the way it's organized for the streamers. It's like who's live. It's very weird. Um, and they don't have a dedicated page for it. Like as I said, on one of the previous podcasts, I think YouTube should make their own. Like it should be like YouTube Gaming or YouTube Live Stream, and it should be its own
Mhm.
page, right? And then you could go to a category because like every obviously other like talk shows live stream, um, and like everyone, there's a lot of pages that do live streams. So maybe like if they did YouTube Live Stream as its own thing, like you live stream on there, and then it automatically uploads to YouTube, like YouTube regular. I think that, but like you should have a dedicated section for that live stream. Even if it's not just gaming in that dedicated section, I think they need it in order to break through. Because it's so hard right now to go and figure it out. I mean, obviously if you're subscribed to the person, it shows that they're live streaming on your page. But if you're not, you can't find anyone on there. It's not a good place to grow, I don't think.
I'd agree. Thank you for the insight.
Yeah. Do you have any other comments about this though?
I mean,
Or thoughts?
like I've said in previous weeks rather, I'm big on no monopolies. I like when there's a lot of competition because it makes everyone step their games up. So I think if Facebook wants to join the game, sure. However, you better come through with the quality content in terms of quality, like your layouts, your interface, whatever you want to call it. The website needs to run smoothly, run clean, and it needs to be a user friendly site. Otherwise, what's the point? And
Mm-hmm.
then you're taking someone's favorite content creator, putting it on your site specifically, and you're not making their content easily accessible. I think that's where the problem could lie.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do that, you need to step up the game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that there's any room for like I will not accept subpar stream layouts because it's 2020. Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where everything is, and you need to be top tier. You need to have a team dedicated to that. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I'm on Mixer, but there is some things that I would complain about. Is like, if on my Amazon Fire Stick, you have to use a third party app for them. They don't have an app for Mixer streaming where Twitch has its app on there. Um, And some things with Mixer are clunky sometimes, right? Sometimes the website, like, it kind of crashes almost, which, given maybe it's because of higher traffic than normal and they're not totally used to it. But like Microsoft, if you're investing in these big streamers, you need to invest in that website. You need to invest in the apps. You need to invest in ways for people to watch this, because I know most people watch it off their phone, watch it off of this. Like, if you want to watch it on a TV, people are using the Fire Stick. They're using Chromecast. They're using these things. You need to have the app for each one of those things, and you need to make sure it runs smoothly. You got to put the money into that type of stuff too, not just the creators on the platform.
Yeah, I agree.
So that goes exactly in line with what you just said about the stream layout, the pages, and all that type of stuff. They really need to dedicate time to that, because right now, Twitch does run smooth. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it's the best of the best right now, and you need to compete with that. And also, I think they need to come with their own thing, right? You can't just do the same thing, right? Like, there needs to be a reason people want to go to Facebook streaming instead of just... Because if it's just the same old stuff, why would you go there if you know that a lot of your other favorite streamers are on this platform? Like, even if they just get
even
Tfue.
Even with the colors and stuff.
Yeah.
I want sites to look very distinct from one another. Like, I like that Twitch is white and purple. I like that Mixer is, would you say, navy blue and black?
Yeah.
YouTube, white and red. Facebook, I guess, is going to go the white and blue route.
But it's almost... I don't know. Do you think
boring.
they have, like, a marketing on, like, their trademark blue? Like, it's Facebook blue?
I don't know, because
YouTube red.
I think, you know what, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if someone said, like, that each of these social media platforms do their best to try and be distinct from one another.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't know many of them with the same color palettes. Like, Snapchat is white and yellow. Instagram is kind of like this weird rainbowy thing going on. Where there's a bunch of warm colors. So I'd imagine each one is trying their best to be different enough. Although there are a lot of blue apps out there. Like,
There's
Mixer's app is actually blue and white.
Yeah. It's a lot blue. They need new color. Go, like, orange, even though Facebook's not orange. See, that's the thing. Facebook already got color. There's a problem right there. I mean, what the hell? Yo, why didn't Mixer go green?
Because they didn't have you on their design team.
But, like, it's Xbox. Like, it's a Microsoft Xbox. Like, you should have went green.
Well, the people at Xbox clearly don't know what they're doing in terms of design. They created a Django block for their new
I like it. Am I the only one who likes it?
Really?
I like it. Okay, so people, Xbox just released what I think, I'm assuming, unless this is all rumors, but what their final product is going to be. They announced at the Gaming Awards, right? For the new Xbox system, it looks like a computer tower. Right?
It looks like a Jenga block.
Yeah, it's just one big block. And I don't mind it. The top glows. It's fun. I think it's different from what they've put out. I mean,
my thing is, I don't like the PS5 either. I think they both look awful.
Well, that PS5 I don't think is the final product though. I think those were leaked images. I think that was a dev build, which is like what they use to like mess with, like to swap parts out.
Okay.
So, because the same thing happened with the old school, like the last generation of consoles. It did the same thing where there was pictures released, but it ended up not being it. But I think it's different. It's getting people to talk about it, right?
That's true. I'm just a fan of things not like I'm a fan of things becoming less clunky with time, not more clunky. That's my whole
I don't think it's more clunky though. I think it fits what obviously it's not the flat console the way consoles look now, but it's easy to play somewhere. That's what computer modems look like now anyway, not like computer setups look like anyway. So they're just making it look more like a computer setup than a what's it called? And you know what? To be honest, I think that's the route they should go if they take my idea and going modular where you could swap parts out. That would be the smartest idea to make it look something like that. It's easy to take off one of the sides or whatever. I don't know. But I think it was interesting looking.
That's fair.
But yeah, that's basically all I got on these topics.
Yeah. So wrap it up?
I think we should.
All right. Thank you all very much for listening to this week's edition of the Geeks Weekly podcast. Or not Geeks Weekly podcast, I'm wilding. To Gorilla and the Geek. I'm out here being selfish, bro. What the hell is that about?
Damn.
God damn.
Wow. Okay. I guess I'll just see myself out over here. Apparently, this is Kyle's podcast now.
This whole podcast was John's idea, anyways. God damn, I'm out here wilding.
Wow.
So, thank you everyone for listening to Gorilla and the Geek, the podcast for sweaty nerds by sweaty nerds. If you have any topics that you want us to discuss, feel free to shoot us a tweet, a DM, or an email.
Yeah, we always have the email in the description of the podcast down below.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, Kyle,
tell your friends about this podcast, by the way.
Yes, share it. People, share this podcast. Let people know if you listen and you find it interesting. Share it, share it, share it. It's the only way we could grow a community around here. We get to talk about more interesting topics. It will be more custom to our community. And
yeah, that'd be dope.
That would be amazing, yeah. Kyle, tell the people where they can find you, though.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Buff Charmander. You can find me on YouTube, where I do multiple types of, I guess, movie reviews and analyses. You can find that youtube.com/geeksweekly. I just released 2 videos companioned about Marriage Story, the new Netflix film. The first one is a spoiler-free review, and the second one is a full character analysis of the 2 lead characters. John, where can they find you?
So, obviously, you can find me on Ginger Gorilla Gaming on YouTube, because you might be watching this podcast there. But if you're listening to this podcast, Ginger Gorilla Gaming on YouTube, which I just posted a new video of the Star Wars event for Fortnite. So if you're interested in that, it was a lot of fun. I think it was a great event. It was really cool to see. You can find me at Ginger Gorilla on Mixer for my streams. There's a stream schedule up there. Ginger Gorilla Gaming on Instagram for fun clips from where I play like trash and I yell at my goddamn screen to where I make some fun plays and I talk shit to people. And then Ginger Gorilla on Twitch. Sorry, not Twitch. Twitter. Holy crap.
See, we're both living up
Twitter,
here, bro. It's not just
dude,
me, son.
Yo, we need to take naps, bro. Ginger Gorilla on Twitter, just for some updates there, some of my thoughts about things. But once again, like this, leave a comment, share it with your friends.
Rate it on the podcast apps.
Rate it on podcast apps, yes, of course.
5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars.
If you guys like this and you hear this right now, let us know where you're listening. I'm always interested. I'm always looking at the stats, trying to figure out where people are listening to us on. But let us know where you're listening to us on. Get in contact with us. Let us know what you think about the podcast. It will bring our spirits up. It will make us want to make more great content. So let us know. Sure. And thank you everyone for listening.
See you next time.
Peace.